one of the most important and in hindsight turned out to be one of the best decisions that Kirby Smart has made during his tenure as Georgia's head coach was hiring Todd Monken in 2020 to become the offensive coordinator of the Georgia Bulldogs. I think that is one of the best and most important decisions he's made for this program, and we can get into that. He had to make another decision this year with Todd Monken saying, hey, you know what? It's been a fun 3 years. We went back to back, but I'm an NFL guy. I'm going back to the NFL. And Todd Monken loved Athens. Todd Monken is one of my favorite people just in Georgia that I've gotten to speak with over these last years. He's a really cool guy, a really down-to-earth guy. He's funny. Definitely enjoyed speaking with him, I believe, around the Peach Bowl. Kirby had to make that decision again. With Monken going to the NFL and being the Baltimore Ravens offensive coordinator now, he had to move up Mike Bobo, and he puts Bobo in there, a position that Mike Bobo has been in at Georgia before a decade ago. He's back for round 2 or 3 with the Dogs. Obviously, he's been with the program multiple times. And these decisions can help define a program and define a coach, right? You look at the coaching tree and the accomplishments, and Kirby Smart has kind of built his own tree, but Todd Monken, the most consequential hire, in my opinion, right? And you don't always get it right with these assistant coaches. I think that you saw that last year with Alabama, right? Didn't seem like it was right for them. In the past, they had Lane Kiffin and Kirby Smart. So sometimes you just have these great coordinators, and at one point, Todd Monken and Dan Lanning were on one side. Todd being the NFL now, Dan Lanning being the head coach of the Oregon Ducks. So these decisions are important. Here's what Todd Monken said to Kirby Smart. Real quick, Ryan Curley from Dog Post. Look, link is down below to sign up for our free newsletter. We push out all of our stories on the website to you every single day. The newsletter is free. Be a smarter Georgia fan, and make sure you're signing up for the newsletter. It takes 5 seconds. The link is down below for that, and you'll get all of your Georgia news in your inbox every single day from the Dog Post crew. Here's what Todd Monken told Kirby Smart on his way out, kind of their exit meeting before Todd Monken was officially out of Athens. They talked about just kind of all their meetings and things like that, how all the assistant coaches come together. And this is what Kirby Smart said. He was quick to say, Coach, you're going to be fine no matter who you put in that position, because you're going to oversee it and make sure they do it right as the leader. And then they're going to do a good job because they have pride in their performance as assistant coaches on offense. And then whoever you put in that position is going to have good players and be able to be successful. That is what Todd Monken said to Kirby Smart during their exit meeting, around that time. Kirby wasn't extremely specific about that, but this is something he discussed the other day during his opening fall camp press conference. He said that Todd Monken told him he's going to find the right guy no matter what, because Kirby Smart is the right guy. Pretty much, if I'm translating that for you a little bit, Monken told him, you're going to find the right guy because you're the right guy that's overseeing this. If you want to read between the lines, that's pretty much what he's saying. And Kirby Smart, that's something that, is there a better fit in sports as a coach coaching a certain team or program? In all of sports, professional college, there's probably only a handful of perfect or near perfect fits, and Kirby Smart being the head coach of the Georgia Bulldogs has got to be up there. I'm sure that there's maybe a couple that I'm missing that rival him, but Kirby Smart, it's got to be up there. We talk a lot about the little things, and that's something that this team does. I went to a high school volleyball the other day, and you can see teams that do the little things. You can see it on every single level by just glancing at the sideline, just looking on players' faces, right? You can see when the little things are being done and when there's a true commitment from top to bottom to winning. And that's what we've seen at Georgia, and that true commitment to winning has resulted in winning. And it boils down from these decisions to the staff to these players. And Todd Monken was the right guy, and Kirby Smart found the right guy. Here's what I'm going to say. There's not complete truth in what Todd Monken said in the statement. Coach, you're going to be fine no matter what, no matter who you put in that position, because you're going to oversee it. Well, look, those mistakes happen. right? Nick Saban probably has made some wrong choices. All of these coaches have made some wrong choices. It's easy to glance at Alabama and make these comparisons. It's why I do it sometimes, and I apologize for maybe shoving that in your direction. But James Coley, 2019, I think that was obviously not the right decision. So Monken, as much as I agree with this statement to an extent, it's not completely true. And Kirby Smart is an example of that. Someone who, probably didn't make the right hire. James, in 2019, that was an offensive regression. Personnel changes, but the coaching changed as well. And it just didn't work in 2019 with James Coley as offense coordinator. Things got, things change with these positions. On the defensive side, it's been there's been a lot of defensive head coaches for Georgia at this point, and it feels like they've more so gotten it right the last 2 years. Now, obviously some of these coaches move on to the other, like Jeremy. I really didn't want to say Jeremy Pruitt's name, but they move on to bigger positions. Mel Tucker, obviously, but then you move on to like Dan Lanning. Obviously, that was the right call. Glenn Schumann seems to be the right call. Adding Will Muschamp to the staff seems to be the right call. So now we look to this latest huge decision in your coaching staff, and it's bringing back Mike Bobo last season as an offensive, kind of support staff analyst role, immediately promoting him to offensive coordinator when the position opens the following season. Is that going to be the right decision for Kirby Smart? Obviously, we can't know that until we start seeing some games. We might not be able to know that until we see a season or two, right? Was this the right hire? Should they have looked elsewhere? Kirby, I don't think that they make that hire lightly. It was quick, right? I was curious as to how quick that was going to be. There was somewhat of an assumption that would happen if Todd Monken were to depart. But we're just not going to know until they start playing. And here's what I'll say. Kirby Smart has started to really build this staff with just people who care about Georgia. Mike Bobo cares about Georgia. Will Muschamp cares about Georgia. These coaches care about Georgia. Maybe Glenn Schumann didn't care about Georgia before. It really seems like he cares about Georgia now. Obviously, an Alabama alum, and it was a GA at Alabama before Kirby Smart brought him over to be an assistant on his staff in 2015 for Georgia. So will Mike Bobo be the right decision? I think that it's more likely the answer is yes to that than the answer is no, and I'm going to give a couple reasons why. And part of it, I just said, caring about the culture and being a part of the culture. And the other part is, he was part of it last year. Mike Bobo got to be a part of it last year and got to be a part of what Todd Monken and Kirby Smart and the rest of this offensive staff built the last few years. He got to be a part of that, and he got to see that. And it doesn't have to be, let's throw this out and start something new. And it's not going to be that way, because they would be stupid to do that, but it's not going to be the way. It's not like they're just coming in, there's a completely new scheme. There's going to be tweaks. He's going to have his own personal touch on things, but they know what their personnel is, and they know what has worked the last couple of years, because guess what? Not one but two rings have come out of what they've done, and it's part of why Todd Monken was, to me, his most important hire. You could probably look through and argue one of these defensive coaches as being that, but to me, the most important hire was Todd Monken. What he did with the offense, what he did with the personnel, the way that he was able to adapt to who he had out there, the way that Stetson Bennett didn't look like he was ever going to play football for Georgia, really, right? And then he transforms into a Heisman candidate. A big part of that's Todd Monken. Stetson Bennett admitted that, saying, I didn't know a lot about football until, Todd Monken came in my life and became one of my coaches. So obviously one of the more important assistants ever for Georgia, a part of these two national championships, he's gone. Will Mike Bobo be the right hire? Todd Monken thinks that Coach Smart will make the right choice no matter what. Link is down for the newsletter below. Thanks for watching.